Good morning and welcome to Shamanic Sundays. I'm Kimberly.
I'm not. Good morning,
Oh, my
everybody.
bad. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We are grateful that you are here in this world and with us today. Thank you for shining the light that you are. Would you like to start us off with a prayer of gratitude this morning?
Well, you already started us. I'll just pick up after that. And thank you, Great Spirits, for this breath of life you give us, and gifts of creation, and the gift of a human incarnation, and even thank you for these challenging times we're living in. Remember our ancestors who lived through challenging times, the ancestor spirits of the land we're living on who lived through and are still living through because of prejudice and oppression and violation of treaty rights, indigenous people of the land. And so thankful for being alive and the situations in the world, not thankful for those, but they do trigger our reactivity. And that gives us an opportunity to work with our own consciousness and to wake up and wise up. And so thank you for this day and believing in us, Great Spirit, for our families, for our lives, and positive use of technology to join together our hearts, minds, and spirits. And hopefully collectively by our focused attention, we can open the doorway, the Nayarika, a little bit to bring through a little more what I call sweet medicine, healing light and love and tenderness and compassion and understanding and courage and creativity and beauty into a world that's very frightened and constricted. And we can all make a difference. So gratitude for Kimberly, you dreaming this up and bringing all of us together here in this way for Shamanic Sundays.
Oh, thank you. And I recently was listening to one of Audre Lorde's talks, and she was talking about one of the greatest acts of rebellion is being able to find joy within challenging times. So I just want to plant that seed that while there is plenty of struggle and pain and challenge, there's also so much joy to be had. And I know we say this often, but you can't say it enough. What a beautiful gift, the sun rising every day, even when it's behind clouds that we can't see. So, yeah. So, the question we got this morning, thank you, Sally, or we got it, I think on Wednesday it came in, is about how to deal with anxious energy. So, because this is Shamanic Sundays, we are always looking for what are shamanic principles, which go back to nature's wisdom, indigenous wisdom, indigenous peoples who've been a bridge between that for so many generations. Thank goodness. And so, what is like a shamanic perspective? What are some shamanic tools that we can use to deal with anxious energy?
Well, that's a good question. Rather than rushing into an answer, I'm just allowing silent pause to be and notice what comes up in response to bringing focused attention on how to work, how one might work shamanically with anxious energy, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, just remembering anxiety is an energy. Every feeling is an energy sensation. And we're shamanism and wisdom traditions around the world know we're more than our physical bodies and more than our ego identities, and we're more than our stories that our egos cook up, and that we're connected to the infinite divine creating activating wisdom energy of the universe. We're not separate, we're all connected. And so if I'm experiencing anxiety, and I certainly have had anxiety triggered by the election results and the fears and stories my ego cooked up about that. And I don't think I'm the Lone Ranger in that regard. A lot of anxiety, the uncertainty increasing about what's coming down the road, and especially for marginalized people out of the mainstream, the threats to their lives and their families, the threats to the environment. So there's plenty of stimuli for the cause of anxiety, the feeling and energy state that we call anxious, nervous, tense, the opposite of calm and peaceful and serene. So remembering that there's more to us than our bodies and our stories and our egos that cook up the anxiety. Um, when we are present in the moment for the breath coming in, we can make a conscious choice. Do I want to use this breath or fuel coming in to keep those stories going that produce anxiety and suffering from us? Or do I want to recognize the role that I'm playing in creating my suffering and my state of unease and anxiety and in this moment of being alive, which is the only time I can experience whatever I want to experience. So it's really seizing the moment that I'd rather experience a state other than anxiety and fear, and recognizing that we're more than our bodies. We can send our spirits wherever we might be now, be in a city or a house or wherever, like we are. We can't go wrong with reducing anxiety by going out and being in nature, being in a beautiful place on nature, standing on Mother Earth. If you're able to take your shoes off in a place and stand barefoot on Mother Earth, even better, grounding. So opening to receive those those free electrons flowing in from Mother Earth into our bodies that diffuse the free radicals that are a result of stress and restore a harmonic balance of energy state and flow in our bodies, shape-shifting our energy state. Shamanism about shape-shifting energy, basically, because everything is energy. So our feelings are all energy. Anxiety is an energy state, and we want to shift it. Just notice as you hear my words right now, and you allow your imagination to journey to a place in nature that you've been to before, or perhaps you see in your imagination right now, and you travel to that place, a place you really enjoy being with the beauty of nature, wherever that might be, on a beach, in a meadow, in a mountain, in a woods, wherever it might be, and just allow your attention to focus for a few moments on being in that place of nature where you feel peaceful, where you feel a sense of serenity and calmness and the beauty around you, what you can see in your place and what you can hear and what you can smell, maybe what you can even taste. Just noticing all the different levels of your transdimensional body and being, all energy, different levels of energy. Notice what you sense being in this place of nature, and especially you notice the whatever plants or bushes or trees, growing things coming out of Mother Earth. Notice the diversity of color and shape and form, and how all of what you see grows up from an invisible power in Mother Earth, what the Huichol people call great grandmother growth, to Kutsinakawe, growing us. And she's sending that growth power energy into us and through us, opening to receive it. That sense of feeling empowered. I'm not alone in facing my challenges. There's greater powers that I can open myself to. And you look above yourself and there's the sun up in the sky and the warmth of the flows of stardust coming from above. There's power coming from above, flowing into you. And in each of the directions, the south, the west, the north, the south, each one of those directions.
Above, below, within.
My daughter helping me out. Where would I be without my dear daughter and other daughter and all the women in my life, my wife and everybody who gives me guidance about how
Your
to.
sisters. We all
My
have to keep you
sisters,
in mind.
oh my gosh, overwhelming. My nieces, unbelievable. Anyway, the power of the feminine. So, and that power of the feminine is expressed through great grandmother growth and what we experience in nature. And so, anytime you're feeling anxious, use the power of your mind, the instrument of your mind, to activate your imagination and see yourself, take your spirit to, you can do it while you're driving, although pay attention to the road, obviously, or you're standing in line, and you can do it anytime. It's free, it doesn't cost anything. And just bring your spirit to that place of nature. Notice what you experience there. Notice what as you experience the beauty and the calmness and the beauty and the diversity and the miraculousness of Mother Nature's expression, Mother Earth, great grandmother growth's expression, to know that power that grows all of this is in us and flowing into us, and we're in it. And on the deepest level of our being, there's no separation. There's the interconnectedness, the interwoven oneness. And so it's evidence, it's reminding evidence that we're so much more than who we think we are through our identity with our egos, opening up to our spirits, and in that place of nature where you feel so peaceful and comfortable, and natural upwelling of gratitude comes up, being able to see what you see. Not everybody can see, but you're able to see the beauty of nature. And you have a body to feel what you feel, the peace and the joy and the happiness and the amazement of the creative expressions of diversity. And so your energy state starts to change. You pay attention to your energy state, and the anxiety has begun to dissolve. It's begun to, like smoke or fog, cloud or whatever, mist disappearing into the blue sky, and there's just the radiance of the clarity of the blue sky and the sunshine and the warmth. And so we have the ability to shapeshift our energy states by using the instrumentality skillfully of our minds, which comes down to clarity about what we do want to experience in the moment of being alive, and being present for the breath flowing in, to make a conscious choice to use that power, that fuel, to empower thoughts and feelings which trigger our energy states and determine our energy states, to open awareness to spirit's presence, to love's presence, to peace's presence flowing in, smoothing out jagged energy states in your body or places of constriction or tension, is smoothing it out. It's like breathing in the love and support to those places. And that's, oh, we're not alone. We're okay. We're being supported here. We're being loved. We're being noticed. We're being cared for. We're being strengthened. We're being healed. And so they're able to release tension and constriction, and then out breath, carrying away the energy no longer needed, opening up more room for the next breath, bringing in more healing, light, and love. I love the little phrase of let go, release, let go, release. Whatever needs to go, open, receive, love's healing flow, a wave, energy of love flowing in with the breath. Open, receive, love's healing flow. And the reminder, the waves of the ocean flow with ease. And as the waves of the physical ocean continuously flow from the horizon to the shore, the waves of the ocean flow with ease, so too the invisible waves of life force energy in the universe that we live in, always flowing into us, with each breath bringing in that healing light and love and strength and joy. To be able to connect with joy through an open heart and being alive and the miracle of life, and the opportunity for us to create responses to the challenges that are triggered by the situations that we're living in the world. The opportunity to feel what we're feeling and consciously make a decision. How do I want to respond to this? How do I want to relate to the truth of what's triggered inside of me? And gratitude for the opportunity to be able to co-create with spirit responses to those challenges that do, in fact, share our gifts in the world to help open the doorway to bring through healing in the world that needs more sweet medicine.
Okay.
Whoa.
So recapping that, just a couple of just recapping. First, just remembering the anxiousness is just another kind of vibration. Yeah. And that's not who you are. It's just another form of energy moving through you. Finding a way to connect physically if possible, like, getting your feet on the ground, looking up at the sun, looking at plants growing. We had Dr. Michael Kearney on a few weeks ago. He talked about even putting your hands in some soil. Like if you're not, you don't have access to nature, go literally buy some soil and get your hands in there, or have a little plant growing in your windowsill or something. And how you're choosing to remembering that how you're choosing to process that energy makes me think of like how like color doesn't really exist unless it's light refracting off of something, right? So
Yep.
it's like anxious doesn't exist unless we give it the ability to bounce off of us in that way, or for us to, I think sometimes giving things a label makes it even harder. And so maybe next time another thing to try is also just like what could you name that's more specific instead of anxiousness. That helps me sometimes. Like when you just, I think in today's world it's so easy to just be like, oh, I'm so stressed. I'm just feeling anxious. Well, about what? Like allow yourself to actually name what it is, because that way you can like take steps more to just honor and or change something that is causing that, or just to see it. Like sometimes when we're in shamanic ceremony and in plant medicine ceremony, or any type of ceremony where you go into like an altered state and a harder, darker energy comes in. One of the things you were taught and have then taught me and some other of your mentees is, how do you greet that dark energy, and what do you want? What do you need? What do you want from me? Why are you here? How can I be of support to you to kind of help move that energy? Does
Yeah.
that sound right?
Yeah. What are you coming into my awareness for? You're not
Mm-hmm.
coming into my awareness by accident. You're coming in to help bring my attention to something.
Right.
So judgment is like not opening myself to what the energy, the information of the energy state that I'm experiencing. So opening to receive and enter into that dialogue. It's like picking up the phone. The phone's ringing and we haven't heard it before. All of a sudden we're hearing it. Let's pick up the phone and get the information, whatever it is, without the judgment about it. It's terrible. I shouldn't feel that way, or this, that, whatever. Just open it, get the information, because within that information, the more information we can get about what's going on, what we're experiencing in all our senses and levels, and the thoughts that are triggering it, and the stories and associations, the more we're empowered to pull a plug on it,
Yeah.
release it, and replace with the next breath coming in those thoughts that create suffering, based on ego identity of self-importance and entitlement and attachment and aversion.
What story are you running? What script are you running?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yesterday, last night we had a family dinner with some extended family, and one of our family members is an attorney who works with children and families who are dealing with some really rough situations. And she was able to get 9-year-old little girl who's completely deaf and so never learned to speak. She was able to get her hearing aids for the first time in her life and got to be part of the first time that she heard sound, and then has been seeing now the last few months as she's learning language for the first time.
Wow.
And yeah, wow is right. And so like thinking of like that anxious energy, wherever it's coming from, like if we were to just be like, wow, I'm feeling, what if you could think, what if I was feeling this for the first time? What would I attribute it to? And how might I manage it differently? And instead of letting it spiral with whatever story your years of beingness in this body on this earth have built around that.
Another thought about anxiety, which is produced by the thought forms of fear. When I'm fearful about something, when we give ourselves permission without judgment to have anxiety or be fearful,
Yeah.
then able to open a door to also exploring, okay, so given that I'm frightened of this, that I'm frightened of that, what, if anything, do I have faith or trust in that I can call on to help me create a response to the fear and anxiety, that instead of that I'm constricted by it, can help me grow stronger in opening up to problem solving, creative problem solving about how to be with the situation in a way that can bring through some good, and that I can play a role in helping to heal the sacred who, which we all have gifts to be able to do, and that's why we're here.
Yeah. Thank you. I did a somatic healing workshop a couple weeks ago, and actually it was just like a week ago, and a beautiful woman who was the teacher, oh gosh, I should remember her name. I can maybe add it in the show notes, but she had us do a couple of exercises, just like one kind of calling in the anxiousness, and then just going through the practice of lifting your arms like above your head, just straight up above your head, and just physically, like as you feel that wave of anxiousness coming in, just going like literally lifting your arms up and down with your breath.
Praise be, hallelujah.
There you go. And then also like rising onto your tippy toes and then dropping your heels down, like from a standing position, dropping your heels down. And actually another friend of mine was talking, who's a therapist, was talking about that recently, and how that kind of movement really helped one of his clients significantly. And then like a week later, this woman I was taking a class with had us do that. And that was just, it was really grounding, kind of a physical, just like your arms hanging down, your shoulders loose, and just going to your tippy toes and then dropping your heels down and feeling that earth beneath you.
Good practices.
I also just thought of another one that I love. Some of you may remember the actor Yul Brynner. He's a bit older generation, but I knew him from, what was that movie? Bali High? Wait, what was that?
And the King and I.
The King and I, yeah. And but really an amazing stage theater actor, like highly skilled, trained actor. And I once read something about when he was feeling nervous, which was literally every time before I went out on stage, even in his older years. He was this majorly successful actor, but every time he stepped on stage, he felt nervous beforehand. And one of his teachers had taught him this trick that you go up to a wall and place your hands against the wall and lean your body into the wall, like keep your body like a plank. So you're leaning into the wall, right? So you're holding yourself up with your two hands. And so I started doing that before. I used to dance professionally. And so before shows or auditions, I would go and do that. And you just let yourself feel your weight against the wall. And now I love doing that with trees too. Just lean up against a tree, put your hands on the trunk and just feel that like holding you up there, and just that you're there, like you are there, and breathe into that. So those are my thoughts.
Good ones. Yeah.
Anything else you want to share this morning?
Well, I find it helpful also to, you spoke about labels for energy states. So for me, it's helpful to switch my mind's labeling of the state that initially wants from ego to be called anxiety to excitement. I'm feeling excitement energy, which is life force. It's strengthened here in this moment by whatever the stimuli. Why is it strengthened? Well, I'm going into a situation that's not totally in my ego's control of what's going to happen. And so it's trying to bring me more focus, clarity, intention. And so going into the situation, whatever it is that's producing the anxiety, the excitement energy, what is most important for me to pay attention to? What's my intention about entering into this situation? What kind of energy state do I want to be in towards what end? So how can I use this excitement energy activating me to strengthen me to go forward to do what I'm here to do?
Yeah, I like that. Changing the word anxiousness to excitement. I had another question actually for you. I'm thinking of like when you're in ceremony and someone's having a hard time, and or there are shamans I've been in ceremony with too, oftentimes go over them and are, doing, some like hand movements around them, or with some of your medicine, totems of your medicine around them. And maybe you could talk us through a moment of, like, what are some of the things that you feel like you're channeling as you're doing your shamanic practices over someone as they're having a hard time? Like what are some of the English language messages that you are feeling coming through you as you go through that experience?
Well, it's the same dynamics of when I'm sitting bedside with somebody who's crossing over. What's the currency, so to speak, that's going to be most meaningful and helpful to that person in that state of transition, of challenge, of difficulty. And so most likely they're going to be experiencing some anxiety because it's a scary situation of letting go or feeling challenged in some really deep ways. And so more important than the words of what's said is what's the energy state inside of me that's being communicated, meta-communicated to the other person. So if I'm anxious, if I'm fearful, if I'm constricted, if that's the energy, no matter what words I say, the energy, if I say to the person, well, you should relax and calm down and this, that, and the other thing, but the energy coming from me is an agitated state inside of me, that's not helpful to them. What would be helpful for them? What would be helpful for them is for me to bring the attention back inside of me and change my energy state so I can access, I can pull a plug on the stories I'm telling myself that are creating anxiety for myself, or agitation, or fear, or whatever it might be. Pull the plug on that, which doesn't mean repress or deny, but work through quickly what needs to be worked through so I can release it and drop down back into what's there at the center of my being, deep inner peace. Didn't go anywhere. I was just telling myself stories, consciously or unconsciously, so that I disconnected in my awareness from the resource state of deep inner peace, of infinite unconditional light and love inside of me. That's the essence of our being. So I need to do my inner work to reconnect my awareness to the Alaha, the sacred unity, to cosmic love that's present inside of me, and then send that energy into the person. Send it into their heart, send it into their spirit, send it into their being, without trying to get them to change their energy state, but with total acceptance for whatever there is they're experiencing. And I'm just being a channel for spirit's light and love and peace into you, for you to use however you need to use it for the work you're doing. So they're not feeling a pressure from me. They have to change. They have to stop being anxious. They have to stop being fearful. They're being loved unconditionally by that energy that I'm sending to them, which then frees them up to feel, because they're getting it from me, this sense of peaceful energy that, yeah, all this stuff's going on, and there's also peace here.
That's so good. Let's just repeat that. There's all this stuff going on, and there's peace here, and there's love here.
Yeah.
Like if we can just take one thing away from, or I would say if I could take that away, and I would wish that for each of you that's listening to this, if you just take one thing away from today, to whatever's going on, whatever energy is coming at you, whatever you're witnessing, feeling, experiencing, that's bringing up anxiousness, there's the anxiousness, and there's peace here, and there's love here. And that doesn't ever change.
And there's love here. Come here. There's
Thanks,
love
Dad.
here.
We
love
love
to all of you.
So good to see you all. Thank you so much for being here. Really sweet to see you out there. And thank you, and have a great week. Remember, you can send us emails with questions ahead of time, and to tomppinkson@gmail.com. And we'll see you next week for Shamanic Sundays. Share with a friend. Tell them about it. Like or comment on our podcast. It's on every major podcast channel out there. Follow, subscribe, whatever you're supposed to do on the different platforms. It helps us to continue to be able to do this. So thank you so much.
Bye con Dios.